Hello my lovely subscribers and welcome back to a brand new mini-series where we are going to pretty much, like kind of podcast style, we are going to talk about major things that are happening in the ARK community and kind of debating what's going to be happening with these things. We're going to be kicking off today's first episode with the biggest thing on everyone's mind right now. Unreal Engine 5.5.4. Some say make or break, we will see. If you guys do like this series, you feel free to get involved as well. You can put any topic that you want in the comment section down below, and if it gets enough likes or something like that, we'll cover it in an episode. Maybe we can get some guests on board to talk about it too. And if you do enjoy this new kind of mini-series while we wait for like the launch of some new stuff, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and also come and join us in the LoadedCrysis Discord if you want to come and play on our servers and our cluster, completely free. The link to our Discord is down below. Right, so Unreal Engine 5.5.4. So as I said earlier, some say this is make or break for the game. And the reason for this is because obviously since ASA launched back in October 2023, can you believe it's been that long now? The game has been an unoptimized mess. Can you still enjoy ARK Survival Ascended and have fun with all of its new content? Yes, you can, and you know that's why it's still got a fairly big player count, and it still has had a player count of up to around 35,000 on new map launches, maybe even 40,000 to a point, because you still can enjoy it. But the same pattern kind of happens with the game, where players come back to play a new map, experience it, really enjoy it, but then because the game is so unoptimized, players losing characters, players just going through the same repetitive thing when they came back for a new DLC, is slowly again what diminishes the player count, because people come back for their little bit of fun for like a new DLC and they're gone again. And Wildcard know this trend is happening currently for the game as well, because that's why they give us enough servers at a certain amount of time for us to enjoy, and then after that they know that they get rid of some servers because then the game kind of dies a little bit again. And yeah, it might be good for money making, but it's not good for the game's overall health, having players just come in for something and leave. It always happens with every game. Of course, you have players that come back for a launch or come back for a new DLC and then they leave. But for ARK, it seems to be like 50% of the player base that does that, which is slightly concerning. So Unreal Engine 5.5 is launching between April 15th and May 15th. So we're nearly at the window now, and today is Community Crunch Day. I don't expect to hear anything on this today, and my sort of ETA for where we'll probably hear something about the date will be the end of April's Community Crunch. The only reason why I say that is when wildcards say it's, you know, they've done it in the past where they say, oh, it's coming between this month and this month, and I always would get the furthest date, and like the furthest date away is most likely when it's going to be ready. Now, I'm more than happy for them not to rush it, and the biggest reason is what we've all talked about, is how badly is it going to break the game. So we've been told from Studio Wildcard that Wildcard and Overwolf are cooking up all of the premium mods and all of the popular free mods to make sure they are ready on day one for the Unreal Engine 5.5.4 upgrade. Now, this is good news, but who knows how functional they're truly going to be. So, as I've said to you guys in my other video, we have to prepare for this. Whether you're on single player, whether you're on a cluster like myself, whether you run your own cluster, whether you just literally run a server for yourself or run a server for your friends, if you have mods installed and they're free and they're not very popular, this will crash your server. And it's a case of finding out which ones they are, and I'm not saying you can't use them again in the future, you can, but it will take time for that mod developer to get back up to date with that version, because they're going all the way from the earliest like Unreal Engine. I think from what I've been told from Studio Wildcard is that they are at Unreal Engine 5.1. Yeah, so they say that, so the system is going from Unreal Engine 5.1 to UE 5.5. So it's such a big jump that any of these sort of old, like modded or extra files or anything like that are going to be so far behind, it's going to break. The biggest sort of question as well on people's minds is, how is the game actually going to be on update day? And I think we're all pretty positive that it's going to be a bit of a rocky day. I think we're going to need to give it time. I've said this to, you know, a lot of my friends, a lot of my mods. You know, we're constantly debating this, obviously, because we run the LoadedCrysis cluster and we're preparing so early for this to ensure that saves are okay. We know which mods might be in trouble, all of that kind of thing. But it's like, also, how's the overall game health going to be on launch? So that's why I'm happy that Studio Wildcard have taken longer. But it's crazy that this has been something that's been talked about since I think it was like last year, just like late 2024, or maybe like end of summer 2024, when we were actually meant to be getting an engine upgrade. So they've given, it's literally been like a year nearly or something since we, you know, and that's how long it's been, because clearly Studio Wildcard have found this a tougher job than maybe they expected, because ARK runs into so many hiccups in every update. Clearly, with such a big change like this, I reckon they run into all types of things. Now, I'm going to try and stay positive about it, because in the long run, this is what we need as a community. This is what we have been craving for as a community. We need change like this, and we need it urgently. The game has needed surgery for a very, very long time. And this, all I'm hoping from this is we finally get some good responses. With some bugs, I'm sure there will be along the way, but it's all about how the game is optimized. A lot of people have said to me they've got the top of the range PCs and they get terrible performance still, and I'll admit too. I think, I can't remember what YouTuber it was. I think it was a Bit More Dave, or I think it might have been Bit More Dave that said he has like a pretty top of the range PC, and he said that it literally even breaks your recording softwares. And it's true. It's very, very infuriating recording ARK videos. I'm telling you, going through and recording, you know, just segments of an ARK video and having to put it together is one of the most infuriating things, because you can be running, you know, obviously a lot of stuff, you know, your webcam, you know, a lot for your CPU to actually obviously deal with. But, you know, I have the system now to do that. But it will crash OBS and it will lag OBS out, which then lags the game out. And then you have to restart the entire game for OBS to end up working properly. And this has been a problem, you know, overall the whole time. Not even just when I'm recording. Like, when I change an in-game setting, I've got to quit off the entire game for them to allow me to actually click buttons again. So if I change an in-game setting, this is my current problem that I have with the game. It's so frustrating, and it makes me not want to play sometimes, because obviously having to quit off a game every time you change an in-game setting, you know, a graphical setting or something like that, is truly infuriating. And then there's so many things like this that the ARK community, I'm sick of having. Like, it's, you know, it's so annoying. So one of the things we may touch in a kind of like further video to maybe like call out to Studio Wildcard for an update on is actually this game is still in early access. A lot of people forget that. I sometimes forget it myself. And from what I remember, when ASA launched early in early access, I feel like Studio Wildcard said that after about a year, they were looking to go into full release. So clearly, they are a long way away from that. Because also, something that's crazy is I don't think they ever will be able to go into full release for ages, because ARK Survival Ascended is meant to be a remaster of ARK Survival Evolved, and we're still missing so many maps. So I can't actually see this game ever going into full release until 2027 or something, because not only will, so the Genesis maps are coming out April, sort of between like April and August and stuff, of 2026, and then we're still going to be missing, once we've had all of those other maps and stuff, we're still going to be missing Crystal Isles and and then late, I think December 2026 is Fjordur, and we're still going to be missing Crystal Isles and Lost Island. So it's still going to be an unfinished product until they've got all of the maps into the game, I can't see how they can go into full release because it's still not going to be the finished product from the last one. I don't know the rules or the laws on it, but it's always just funny when we, the promises that Studio Wildcard make on things are always like, it never tends to go very well. And I do agree. I see the point that a lot of people say, like, we've learned from, like, quoting Wildcard saying we've learned from the last 9 to 10 years of our game, and obviously they clearly haven't, because it is obviously a bit worrying that it has been 9 and 10 years and we do still face some of the issues that have been in Ark Survival Evolved since like day one. And don't get me wrong, things have got better, the game looks fantastic, but we're still a long way off what we need to be. I feel like Wildcard needs about a 50-year project to be able to get it right finally. But, yeah. Let's just hope, that's what I'm just hoping for moving forward, that we get this Unreal Engine upgrade. It really, truly brings us the optimization that we need. They said what it will do is give us some instant performance benefits, better performance and graphical benefits long term, and they will continue to develop the product and give it more engine upgrades. Wildcard said they will plan to do engine upgrades on a yearly basis, but nowhere near as like big as this one ever again, because obviously it requires such a big change. So they're still going to be doing little engine upgrades, but like when they kind of get to a point, maybe when Unreal Engine 6 comes out, they will do their like next one next year, I think, to catch back up. I'm not too sure, but it will never be such a jump from Unreal Engine 5.1 to 5.5.4. They'll never do that kind of thing. So all I'm going to say on from this is it's going to be an interesting time. But I want you guys to let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I hope it's not going to be as bad as we all think it's going to be, but because we're used to updates, I'm not talking about the engine upgrade, I'm talking about the actual launch day. And I'm going to be working really hard, as I said, with my mods to ensure that the LoadedCrysis cluster is prepared. I know I'm getting loads of those questions and those worried things from people saying, oh, my dino's going to be safe, or my build's going to be safe. And we are going to do absolutely everything with the saves, working with Nitrado to ensure this, and pretty much just making sure that we've taken every single step to prevent any issues. Now, unfortunately, every single cluster, every single server, and every single player is probably going to run into some sort of problem on launch day, but all we can do is sit back and see what Studio Wildcard tell us, and let's hope we actually get some form of a decent launch. Looking forward to seeing the comments, and also looking forward to seeing what topics you want me to cover next. Community Crunch will be out later tonight, so you'll see a video then. Leave a like, subscribe, and thank you for watching.